med mig! Nu vill jag att så många som möjligt reser sig upp från era bekväma filtar och kommer fram till scenen. För nästa artist har rest hela vägen från Toronto, Kanada. Och det här är första gången någonsin hon uppträder i Sverige. Och det vill vi att hon ska minnas väldigt varmt. Så kom fram kära vänner. Och ge en stor varm applåd, mycket oväsen och en hel massa kärlek till den fantastiska TÖME!
Africa unites, 'cause we're moving right out of Babylon, and we're going to our father's land. Yeah. How good and how pleasant it would be before God and man to see the unification of all Africans. As it's been said already, let it be done. We are the children of the Rastaman. We are the children of the I Am. It's very important in our day and age to unite and come together as one. My generation, the generation after me, we need to remember where we came from. Remember who we are. As a wise woman once said, and her name is Bose Ugala, we were African before we were anything else. Africa unites, 'cause our children wanna come back home. Africa unites, 'cause we're moving right out of Babylon, and we're going to our father's land. Yeah, so sing it with me. Africa unite, sing it one more time. Africa unite, one more time, one more time. Africa unite, once again, Africa unite. 'Cause we're moving right out of Babylon. We're going to our father's land.
Tommy, we're meeting you today in Uppsala at the Reggae Festival.
Yes, sir.
Your performance today was very much like something out of this world. For a moment, we thought it was Beyonce there on stage. Your voice was something out of this world. Your look, your stagecraft
Thank you.
was completely professional.
Thank you.
Who is Tommy? Tell us who you are.
Tommy is an Afro R&B singer-songwriter based in Toronto from Nigerian and French-Canadian descent. So my name is Michelle Oluwatomi Akambi, and I was born in Montreal and left when I was about 2 years old. Came to Ontario, where I then spent all my years, and I was always in a full French school, so that's how I kept my French, and it is very much a part of my culture. I am Francophone as well as Nigerian. It plays a big part in my music because I was able to kind of balance who I am into my sound, bringing you the Afro R&B, which is Afrobeat is the beats and the blood and the rhythm in my music and me, as well as the R&B, which is what I was raised around, the hip hop, which I also want to incorporate because I do love it. So the two of those definitely create my sound and who I am, because it is very much the core of how I was born.
Okay, your stagecraft was something else. For a moment, I was thinking, okay, you're a newbie, you're gonna be like nervous on the stage, but you came out with some kind of class. You know, you brought in the attention of everyone, and then you hit us with the intro, and then gave us some of your sounds.
Right, right.
How did you practice? How did you come to this perfection?
It is definitely with the helps of my manager, which is also my dad, and we always try to make sure that we curate a nice show. And for us and for myself as well, a show is not just singing your songs and calling it a day. It's about entertaining the crowd. And because I am new to the industry and I'm new in the scene and I'm an upcoming artist, it's really important that I'm aware that right now there's many people who don't know me, don't know my music. So I need to give them more than just the music so that they make sure that they want to hear more and know more about me. And that's always the goal around it. So a great way to always start that, start with a song that people like, start with a song that people know, and that way you can attract them. Now you have their intention, and give them a show they will remember, which is always what I try to do. I always want to do better and more, but that'll come with time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's a great strategy there.
Yeah.
We're in the era of parents being the managers of their children in music. We have that with Burna Boy. We have that with your father.
Yeah.
Tell us how your father influenced you going into music. We heard your father was also a musician, right?
Yeah, he's actually a percussionist. He was in a band of his own for many, many years before he kind of focused more on business. And he was always curating shows and putting on big concerts. So music has always been in his blood. It's always been in his business. It's always been a part of his life. And for me, that was a great push because I needed someone to properly guide me in this industry. And there was no one better than my dad, who has my best interests at heart and the best knowledge in this industry. So I am truly, truly grateful to have the father that I have, who is also by my side supporting me every single day. It's a blessing. It is truly a blessing. I mean, at the end of the day, by God's grace, as I get bigger and as things get more demanding, I believe that he said he might want to step back from it all, but it'll never be forgotten, the memories we've been able to create and the bond we've been able to achieve with each other just through this experience. I think me finally being ready for the industry and him knowing that and believing in me is what really curated where I am now, and we're only just beginning. So
what was that point when he truly believed in you and believed that you were ready?
I think when I told him I was, when I believed me and when I was ready, he was.
When you started picking an interest, he didn't know until you were a bit ready for the industry, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I had been composing and making music for so long. I remember when I was about 10, 11 years old, my guitar teacher, I would make songs, and then we actually recorded I think 2 to 3 songs, and we put it on a CD. And on our way to, I think it was Malaysia we were going to, we just kept playing it. So my dad has always known that I love music. But of course at that time I still had to develop my voice and still get better at it. So of course he really saw the difference because I've grown musically as well. My sound from when I was 10 to when I was 15 to when I was 18 was completely different to when I was 20, 21. And I'm 21 now, and that's when my sound was fully shaped. I think throughout those years I was able to develop and really craft it. And at that point in time, it wasn't marketable what I was making. It might have been nice, but it wasn't marketable. And so for my dad, of course, as a manager, as any manager will be, they want to know, where's the market going to be? Where is the profit going to come from this? Because if you want to go into this industry, you got to make sure that there's a lot of money at stake as well, and there's a lot of money that needs to be spent to make it back. So it needed to be marketable, and that's when L'amour, which is my first single that I released, when I showed him that, and I told him that I'm ready, that was when everything changed. And that's when he was like, let's do this, because he knew there was more to come, even better.
Okay. And what year was that?
That was in early 2018, and I kept recording songs. And then afterwards, in 2019, Wizkid was coming to town in March, and that's when we were like, we need to release. So that's when the push towards actually releasing TÖME came out. But since 2018, it was in the works.
Okay. And you have performed in some of the big events in Canada.
Yeah.
Talk to us about them.
Yeah, so I did a North American tour with Wizkid. So I did Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa with him, as well as opening up for Mr. Easy when he came as well. And what else did I do? I did Afrofest, which is a huge, huge festival in Toronto, showcasing all of Africa and its culture, fashion, music, everything, food, as well as Shakara. There's been quite a few events, but there was also South by Southwest in Austin, which I did before Wizkid. So those were probably my biggest platforms. And now is Uppsala Reggae Festival in Sweden. Burna Boy coming up in August 9th in Toronto, another music festival in Montreal. So I've just started, but I've got a lot behind me in terms of performance, and we're only just beginning. So
Yeah, I was about to ask you, you've performed in big events in Canada where we know there's huge turnouts of the black community and the reggae community, and in fact the music followership is huge.
Hello.
How were you able to confront your nervousness and perform without a hint of nervousness? Practice.
I think when I was just making music and I would go and perform in front of people, I was so nervous, so nervous. But it was because I didn't know what to expect from a show. I didn't know what to expect during my performance, what I was going to do. But when you start practicing, which is what I did with Austin for South by Southwest and with WizKid, this is when my dad was now fully under me, under my belt, and monitoring everything I do. When you actually start practicing, you know what you need to do on stage. You know from A to Z what you're going to do on that stage. And when you have that, practicing it over and over again, it builds a sort of confidence in you that, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm here for this, I'm here for that, and I'm good to go. When you have that sort of foundation in your mind, it's much easier to release and just perform, because now you know what to do subconsciously. But if there's no practice, then that's when the nerves come in, because you're like, oh shoot, I don't know, am I going to do this after, or okay, let's do this. When you do that on stage, that's when the nerves come in, because you haven't taken the time to just make sure there was all that practice beforehand. So when you get there, it's just free-minded and you can just perform, and that's what it's just all in the practice, honestly.
You're Nigerian, and I'm sure you're aware of the Nigerian industry, the music industry in Nigeria. There are not so many female acts that are that big. You can count only but a few, like the likes of Asha, Tiwa Savage, Yemi Alade, Tenny just coming up now. Right. People are getting to feel her vibes too. Right. And then you're like a ready-made entertainer, ready to hit the industry with a lot of energy, a lot of new vibes.
Right.
How do you see yourself coming into the Nigerian industry, the Nigerian entertainment industry? How do you think they're going to receive you?
I mean, we've already tried to tap in and show the music to certain people. And I think with the Nigerian crowd, it'll come with time, to be truthfully honest. My sound is very different, and I don't just do Afrobeat. So that sound that they're very used to, that Tiwa, Yemi, Tenny do, especially including their Yoruba or Igbo language, that's something I can't do, where I instead replace it with French. That's where I feel like sometimes there's a little bit of a barrier before they're able to accept it, but it all comes with time. Music is revolutionary. It's always changing. It's always modifying itself. So I think over time it'll be accepted, but for right now they just need to get accustomed to it. But of course, there's always music to be made, so something will catch their ear, and then that's when I'm in.
Okay, you're only 21.
Yes.
But yet you featured in some concerts with big names like WizKid, and then very soon you're going to be featuring. You're going to be opening for Burna Boy, right?
Right.
How are you gearing up for this big performance?
Well, being in Europe is definitely a nice experience in its own, because doing this show just only helps me get better as I prep for another one. Once we get back to Toronto, it's just straight rehearsals before the show. So that's really going to be how I'm able to perform, because I plan to do it with my band. So that is going to be a lot of fun, and I think there's only so much mental prepping I can do for myself. Now that I'm in a state where I'm performing all the time, it's not really like I need to think, okay, now I'm going to perform for this person. For me, performing for Burna Boy is an experience of his own, and I'm so grateful for it. But I'm not thinking, okay, this is a performance for Burna. It's a performance for me, and to expose myself to a new market. And so I just think of it as another show for myself. I'm not opening, but I'm performing for. I'm not opening for. And that's just another way for me to be able to be 100% more confident on stage, that this is my crowd, these are my fans. And that's how I like to see it, that's the way I'm able to keep going confidently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was speaking with your father, and he made mention of not wanting you to, you know, collaborate with some of the big names right now.
Right.
He's keeping that until later in the years.
Yeah, of course.
Why you using that strategy?
I mean, right now I'm very fresh. I'm very fresh to the market. And there's no denying that, and there's no need to mask it. So me doing a song with them is great. But then once that fan base is now looking at all my music, is it tallying with the rest of what I've got right now? No. Do I have enough content? No. Do I have enough to attract the rest of his fan base continuously so they're my fans too? No. And that's only because we haven't released it. That music is there and it's ready, but we haven't released it yet. So as time grows and I start to create my own fan base that they will want to tap into, I think it'll be a much stronger relationship than me just trying to ask for a feature right now. It's all about relationship in this industry. It really is. So as long as I am growing my own fan base and creating my own exposure for myself, I think it'll create a higher respect towards them as well. And the fact that let's actually make music instead of I want you to make me famous.
Okay. So where the majority of your fans coming from right now?
I think they come from all over, to be truthfully honest. But of course, because of my own people and who I know, I think my biggest support is in Canada. But I wouldn't say it's limited to that. Because when I look at my demographics throughout, I mean, there's also people within the United Kingdom, the United Emirates, and as well as Europe. There's a few different places that are hearing me. But I would say the majority of people know me in Canada. That's only because I know of them. I'm not sure what other fans I might have right now.
Okay. You speak French too?
Oui.
Oui. Okay. How have you tried to tap into the French fan base?
Well, I always try to incorporate it in my songs. Although for me personally, when I'm writing songs, it comes to me in English first before it comes to me in French. So we are in the works of working on more songs that are full French, because I think that's the best way to tap into the markets, to make sure that it's a song they can fully understand from A to Z. But regardless, I feel like I'm also from Montreal. I am French. And I think once that is known and that is respected and you like the sound, then that's a way for me to gain your attention and have you become one of my supporters. I mean, it'll only come with time. Not every French person is going to like me. Not every English person is going to like me. But I'm only going to try to be who I am, really.
Well, when you were on that stage performing, I was seeing snippets of Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, and what's her name? A bit of other artists. Who really inspires you in music? Which artist do you look up to and say, okay, I really want to be like this person, I want to surpass this person?
I think for me personally, when it comes to music as an all, I don't have a specific person in mind. Because I feel like depending on what kind of music you're making, you'll inspire something new for me. And so I can't say that there's one artist in specific that has inspired my sound. But when it comes to performance, I truly look up to Beyonce. And that might seem cliche, but when you see how she goes into rehearsing and performing and still killing it, hitting that big note after doing like a full set of dance, that is something that you need to respect. You need to appreciate. And as any female artist or any artist in general, I think when you look at someone who can really sing live and give you a show, of course I want to do better. Of course I want to live up to that and more. I of course want to build my own path as well, and I don't necessarily look at any artist to imitate what they're doing, but what they do motivates me to do better. And so when it comes to performance, Beyonce motivates me to do better. But when it comes to music, any artist, you can be big or small, you can inspire something in me for sure.
Which one of the artists do you listen to?
The most?
Yeah.
I really don't have one. I don't have an artist I listen to the most.
Give us a list.
So for sure, right now, like Burna Boy's a hit for me right now. I love him, of course. And then the likes of Ari Lennox is actually a very nice, sultry singer. Erykah Badu, I can always go and listen to her on any day. Yeah. Janae Aiko, same thing. Sounds like Kickback influenced that sort of vibe, you know?
Okay.
As well as like artists like Tenny. I'm feeling Tenny's vibe like crazy. Tiwa's coming out with more R&B, so that's something that I'm looking into. But like I said, I don't have anything in mind. Right now, when I just go and listen to music, I just put on like an African Heat playlist because Afrobeat just always gets me in a groove. It always puts me in a positive mindset. So you have songs like that are coming out from an artist like UG. You have guys like Ricardo Banks. So many different sounds I love to listen to. I don't have anyone that I'm listening to their playlist every single day. Sadly, I don't. I listen to everyone all the time.
Okay. How much longer are we going to wait for your album to drop?
The album is gonna have to come once the support is there. I think right now, because it's still so fresh and new, there's an EP that has been released. There's a little project already out there, but our focus right now, since that release and performing, is more collaborations with upcoming artists as well, and just more singles. I think is the bigger push for me, and these singles will end up being in the album. But I wouldn't necessarily want to say an album is coming very soon. I think that has to, I need to really build my name first before an album can drop, because sadly that's how the industry works, you know?
So what kind of collaborations are you looking forward to? You want to blend Afro blend with your music?
Exactly.
Or, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to work with a lot more Afrobeat artists, but I think Afrobeats in general is evolving in a different way where it actually starts to mesh more with the R&B sound. So there's many artists I can work with, and that's definitely going to be in the works, but I don't want it to be, it'll be Afrobeat artists, French Afrobeat artists, R&B artists. I want to work with a whole pool of people, so my name is everywhere. That's the whole key, really.
I do it for the money, money, oh, money.